They put a textbook in one hand and a set of standards in the other. Sometimes that's all the administration has for resources. Whether you're tuning in from across the US or from somewhere across the globe, welcome. I've been in your shoes, juggling lesson plans and standards. Hello, my name is Casey. I've taught everything from 5th grade science to advanced chemistry, and let me tell you, it's been a ride. But along the way, I've picked up some tricks to keep my sanity and ensure my students get the quality education they deserve. So let's dive into some practical tips to make lesson planning easier while nailing those standards. Tip number 1, prioritize yourself. First things first, let's talk about you. Teaching is no small feat, and the saying, "you can't pour from an empty cup," is tossed around all of the time for a reason. It's crucial to maintain a healthy work-life balance, which means adequate nutrition, sleep, and some me time. They are non-negotiable. If you are on the edge, you have to let yourself rest and let go. Remember, a well-rested teacher is an effective teacher. Tip 2, work smarter, not harder. Here's something I was told in my teacher prep program and I live by. Students should be the hardest working in the room, not the teacher. Find little ways to keep this idea alive. Think about it. A 2-page assignment? Grade 1 question that really sums up the lesson with detailed feedback, and the rest is completion. And when it comes to feedback, go for whole class feedback, highlighting examples of what works and what doesn't. It's all about being efficient without compromising on quality. Tip 3, the more upfront work, the more time saved later. Feeling overwhelmed with all the standards? They might seem daunting at first, but they're actually your roadmap. Whether it's NGSS, something state-specific, or even another country or subject entirely, they always have supporting resources. Dive in and learn what you can. Understanding them inside and out will give you the flexibility to be creative with your lesson plans. If you really get what they're about, it will save you countless hours down the line. And those of you working with NGSS, remember, it's all about the big picture. Fostering lasting understanding rather than getting bogged down in minutia. Start simple. If you have a curriculum, get cozy with it. Even spending 15 to 30 minutes getting to know the curriculum before school starts and getting an idea for pacing is going to help later on. No curriculum? No problem. Use the standards as an outline and make sure to allow yourself some grace when you're building your first curriculum. Tip 4, developing assessments. Moving on to assessments, they're not just about grading. They're a tool for learning. Start by outlining your assessments early on. The term backwards planning is used all the time. Start with what you want the students to be able to do and work backward from that to gain the understanding. Simple backwards planning could mean setting up basic project guidelines or drafting quiz questions that align with your standards. Projects, in particular, are fantastic for assessments. They're not just a box to tick. They're an opportunity for students to explore, create, and apply what they've learned in a tangible way. Projects can range from simple class journals to elaborate experiments. The key is to make those projects align with your standards while also giving students a sense of ownership and creativity. Plus, multi-day projects can give you some breathing room for administrative tasks, making them a win-win. Tip 5, lectures. While we're all about making learning engaging, it's okay to lecture sometimes. Please give yourself that. Learning doesn't have to be a carnival. It gets tiring for everyone involved. Developing the ability to focus and absorb information from lectures is crucial, especially for upper-level students. It's all about finding that right balance. There's immense value in simplicity and direct instruction when used appropriately. Tip 6, utilizing digital tools. Another really important thing I learned in my teacher prep training was never reinvent the wheel. In today's digital age, there's no shortage of resources to enrich your teaching. YouTube channels like Professor Dave or Tyler DeWitt can bring complex concepts to life. These videos are great when introducing topics or reviewing them. Websites like ck12.org offer articles, practice questions, and simulations across subjects. Embrace these tools. They're not just supplements. They can be central to delivering your curriculum while also giving you a much-needed breather. I especially relied on CK12 when I was teaching a subject that I was not familiar with. For example, I taught zoology one year. I found a community book about zoology and would outline an article as my notes, and then have students work through the adaptive practice as their daily work, which is auto-graded and you get this extensive reporting of. Let me know in the comments below if there's something you particularly love using in your class, or something you feel like it's a resource that you wish someone would come up with. Tip 7, building routine. Consistency is key. Establish routines that both you and your students can rely on. Some things that have worked in my classrooms: review day, always before test. Quick review discussion, review quizzes, individual study time. Every first day of the unit, ask a historical, cultural, or environmental connecting question for whatever they're about to learn. DEAR, or drop everything and read. Once a month in your class, you can get out articles related to the concept. These routines can provide structure and predictability. You can also thoughtfully plan these things to give yourself additional planning time. When I was teaching brick and mortar, one lesson a week would be some kind of individual or group work that would allow me to float around the room, but mainly get my own things done. And don't forget to reflect. After each unit, take a moment to consider what worked and what didn't. This is not just administrative work. It's an investment in your continuous improvement as an educator. If you keep doing this, over time, you will develop a personal teaching philosophy that will guide your decision-making, simplifying your life. As I reflect on my journey, one pitfall that I would hope that you can avoid is over-planning. Don't feel like anything is set in stone, and don't work too far ahead. If you marry yourself to anything, you will just stress yourself out trying to stick with it. Start simple and work to complexity as you gain more teacher skills. In closing, remember that teaching is as much about your journey as it is about your students. Embrace the resources at your disposal. Reflect on your practices and never stop evolving. Remember that feeling overwhelmed is valid. This job is really challenging. And if there's anything I've mentioned that you would like me to dive deeper into, just let me know in a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and here's to making lesson planning a little less daunting and a lot more rewarding.